Welcome back, homebodies. Welcome to my channel, Catskill Mountain Homebody. My name's Amy, and today we are going to make one of my family's most iconic recipes. This is a recipe that my mother got in the 1970s from my father's cousin's wife. See if I can remember all of it straight. So back in the 70s, my parents went to visit my father's cousin, and they were served something called artichoke pie. And it was delicious, and my mother asked for the recipe. And from then on, artichoke pie became a part of every holiday. Even an average weeknight, we would have artichoke pie. Artichoke pie became essential to our family's culinary identity. Not only did my parents love it, my brother and sister and I loved it, but whenever my mom would make an artichoke pie for someone outside the family, they always wanted the recipe, and then they would tell us how they now make artichoke pie. So it's one of those recipes that's passed down now from generation to generation, but also family to family. So when you learn how to make artichoke pie and you try it, you might also find that it's one of the most delicious pies that you've ever had. I don't know where the artichoke pie recipe originates. I only know that we got it from my father's cousin's wife. So I can't tell you what cookbook it came from or where it originates, but I do know it's absolutely delicious. So I'm gonna walk you through how we make artichoke pie. And we use artichoke pie as a side dish on holidays and as a side dish any day of the week. My mother used to make artichoke pie on a whim. Whenever my mother would go to a party or come to our house for a holiday, she would always say, "Oh, do you want me to bring an artichoke pie?" And she would whip an artichoke pie together in the morning and bring it in the afternoon. So the reason I'm going to make an artichoke pie today is because tomorrow I'm going to be driving to Jersey to visit my parents. And my parents are older now. They're not really cooking. My mother doesn't cook the way that she could cook years ago when she was younger. So they don't make artichoke pie. And the only way they're able to have artichoke pie is if my brother, sister, I make it and bring it to them. So I'm going to be bringing them some of this artichoke pie for my visit with them tomorrow, but some of it I will keep here for Joe and I to enjoy. So let's get started making a delicious recipe, artichoke pie. All right, before we start the artichoke pie, let me show you what the garden has produced. So far we have gotten quite a bunch of yellow squash. This artichoke is from my friend Ann's garden. I'm gonna make a recipe with that later in the week. But all of these squash come from our garden. And let me show you the tomatoes. So far, these are the tomatoes that we've gotten from our garden. And I'm gonna be bringing some of these to my parents' house. Maybe I'll make a tomato salad tomorrow. All right, before I show you the ingredients for the artichoke pie, let me just tell you a little bit more about the artichoke pie. So number one, it's not a dessert. It is a savory pie that you would have as a side dish to your meal. But it is absolutely delicious, and I promise you, if you try this recipe, it will be a hit with your family. And if you bring it to a potluck or you bring it to someone's house for a barbecue, I guarantee they're gonna ask you for the recipe. And this is, again, a recipe that my family has shared with so many families over the years because it's so good and so popular. Now, I'm gonna show you the ingredients, and there are some ingredients that you really can't change, like whole milk mozzarella cheese. You need whole milk mozzarella to really make this pie taste good. So let me show you what ingredients I've pulled out, and then we're gonna start making the pie, and I'm gonna get the oven preheated. And my recipe card is kind of a mess. Okay, let me show you the ingredients I've pulled out. So I didn't make these pie crusts. I bought these pie crusts in the freezer section of my grocery store. All right, so the way you can buy these is you can buy them two to a package. You're gonna need a top and a bottom for artichoke pie. Now, when I opened up this package, the bottom one was all cracked. It's kind of a mess. I tried to put it back together. I'm gonna make the cracked part, the bottom part of my pie, and I'm gonna make the nice one, the top part, so that the pie will look nice, and we'll see how it looks. You're gonna need some vegetable oil. I don't use olive oil in this recipe. I use corn oil or vegetable oil. You're gonna need 2 14-ounce cans of artichoke hearts in water. I buy the quartered kind. If you buy the whole ones, you can just cut them into quarters. So you're gonna need 2 cans of those. You're gonna need about a teaspoon of dried parsley, about 1/4 of a cup of grated Romano cheese. You are going to need 16 ounces shredded of whole milk mozzarella cheese. I use Polly-O. You're gonna hand grate this entire chunk of mozzarella cheese. Now, you can buy pre-shredded cheese. The problem with the pre-shredded cheese is that it doesn't come in whole milk. It comes in part skim. Part skim cheese in this pie isn't as good as whole milk. The whole milk cheese is going to be very gooey and rich, and it's gonna really make your pie taste delicious. So I recommend using Polly-O whole milk mozzarella cheese, or mozzarella. We call it mozzarella in North Jersey. So that's the kind of cheese that I would recommend you use. I have about 3 cloves of garlic that I've chopped up here. I might chop this a little bit finer, but you don't have to go crazy. You can use 2 or 3 cloves of garlic that you're gonna need for this recipe. That's pretty much it. That's the ingredients for artichoke pie. It's very basic, but again, the most important ingredient is whole milk mozzarella. Whole milk mozzarella cheese is really gonna make the difference in this pie. So I am going to put about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in my large frying pan. So let's start cooking. All right, I have about 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm gonna put this on a more of a low heat. I'm gonna set it on number 3 on my burner, and I'm gonna bring up the oil to a low heat. In the meantime, I preheated my oven for 350 degrees. I've already chopped my garlic. So while this is heating up, I am going to open up the cans of artichoke hearts. Okay, I've opened up my cans of artichoke hearts. We're gonna drain the water out. You don't want the water in the pie. I took out my box grater and a plate. I'm gonna grate the mozzarella on the box grater. You have to grate the entire block of mozzarella. It's gonna be time consuming and messy, but I guarantee you will be thankful that you did this when you taste the pie and you taste how delicious it is. I'm gonna take my Polly-O, which I had in my fridge. I'm gonna grate the whole thing. You're also gonna need 3 eggs for this recipe. I didn't take the eggs out yet. You're also gonna need a big bowl to mix the artichoke mixture in with the mozzarella, the Romano cheese, the parsley, and the eggs. So I have my big metal bowl that I've taken out, and after I fry everything, I'm gonna put the warm artichokes and garlic mixture and oil mixture into this bowl. All right, the first thing we're gonna put in our frying pan is the garlic. So let me chop the garlic up a little bit more, and I'm gonna pop it in the pan. I mostly grated the cheese. It's okay if you have chunks. That's just going to be a delicious bite in your pie. Even bigger chunks are okay, but most of it's shredded into small pieces. All right, the oil is warm. It's slowly cooking the garlic. It's time now to add the artichoke hearts right into this pan with the oil. Right into the oil and the garlic. And it's okay if there's a little water in there, it'll evaporate. You're gonna saute this over low heat. And again, this is a good time for you to go grate your mozzarella if you haven't already. And we're gonna soften up these artichoke hearts and get them all mixed in with the delicious taste of garlic. And this is gonna be the most delicious pie you've ever had in your life. I have my big bowl. I'm gonna put my mozzarella cheese into my big bowl. To this, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of Romano cheese, 3 eggs, and a teaspoon of dried parsley. You don't need to cook the artichokes for that long in the oil and the garlic, maybe 15 minutes. You want any water that was in the artichokes to evaporate because you don't want a watery pie. So that's gonna take about 15 minutes. Remember, the heat is not high. You're sauteing the garlic and the artichokes on a lower heat. So it's gonna take about 15-20 minutes before all the water has been evaporated. And I would just come and give it a stir every 3 minutes so that nothing burns. But if it's on low enough heat, nothing should burn. When the artichokes are done, I'm gonna pour the artichoke mixture in with my egg and cheese mixture, mix it all together, and pour it into the bottom part of my pie crust that I pricked with the fork. Then we're gonna put the other pie crust on top, and I'll show you how we do that, and then we're gonna bake it in the oven. Now, I have a prepared pan that I've wrapped in foil because the pie might leak a little in your oven and you don't want to have a big mess in your oven. So you're going to place the pie on this foil lined pan, and that will save your oven from getting disgusting and dirty. And that way, if anything drips out of the pie, any liquid, it goes on the tin foil, which you can throw out after the pie is done baking, and you don't have to clean. Now, my husband likes to put tomato sauce on his artichoke pie because it is good with a side of tomato sauce. So there are different things you can do with artichoke pie. It could be a lunch, it could be a side dish with your dinner, or you can put some tomato sauce on it and make it even more savory. So try that. If you have your favorite tomato sauce on hand, try to have some sauce on the side with your artichoke pie. I like it the old-fashioned way, just plain artichoke pie as a side dish. We have artichoke pie on every holiday you can think of. Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, Easter Sunday, Thanksgiving Day, we have artichoke pie. If you can think of a holiday, we're probably having artichoke pie. So it has become a staple in our family, and I'm sharing it with all of you because I know it's gonna be delicious for your families. And Julius, my son, hopefully will be making this pie for his family when he is married and has his own family. Let's go check on our artichokes. All right, a lot of the water has evaporated, and you can really smell the artichokes and the yummy garlic. It's filling up the kitchen, it smells delicious. So this is almost ready to go into the cheese mixture. I'm just gonna give it another minute. here's the tricky part. I filled the pie. I am going to now put the other pie crust on top of this pie. And that's where it might get messed up. Guess what? It's delicious whether it looks nice or not. So we'll try to make it look as nice as possible, but let's top off the pie with the other crust. I did it! It looks beautiful. We're gonna crimp the edges of the pie with a fork so that it all comes together. All right, it's not perfect. Looks a little crooked. That's okay, it's gonna taste delicious. Okay, so I have tried to crimp the edges of the pie. Didn't go that great. That's okay, still gonna taste good. I made 3 slits in the top of the pie to let the steam out. So we're gonna bake this in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. And it's gonna be uncovered. And wait until you see how delicious it is when it comes out of the oven. So let's put it in the oven. Oh wow, next time you come back, you're gonna see this delicious pie. While we wait for the artichoke pie to finish cooking, let me show you this cute Halloween ornament I got from the Hallmark store that I'm gonna add to my Halloween decor. This is one of the Hallmark store's 2022 ornaments. I already have a Charlie Brown Halloween ornament, so I thought I would get the little puppy dog to go with my Charlie Brown Hallmark. So I'm gonna put this over here on my windowsill with my other little Halloween decor. I'll put them right here. This is an owl light catcher that I made from a kit. Actually, I don't know if I made it. My brother or sister might have made it, but my mom had it. And it was from the 70s. You can tell it's very 70s looking, but I think it's very fallish, and I'm gonna leave it up until Christmas. And then I have my vintage pin that says wishing you a happy Halloween. I can't really see it. That's a little photo of Julius as a pumpkin that I keep out every Halloween. And then I have my ghost and my Charlie Brown trick-or-treating and my black cat. So I thought I would just show you my new Halloween decor. I always buy a couple things every year to add to my collection because Halloween is a great holiday and it's one of my favorites. When I come back, we're gonna look at how good the pie looks. I just pulled the artichoke pie out of the oven, so let me show you. Oh man, look at that deliciousness. Now, do you see how some of the cheese and the juices leaked? This would have been on my oven floor if I hadn't put the pie on a tray with tin foil. So cleanup for me is going to be a breeze because I just have to take the pie off this pan and throw away the tin foil. See? You can tell I've made a lot of artichoke pies. So, is it perfect? No, but it's going to be delicious. And the whole kitchen smells absolutely wonderful. Smells like garlic and artichokes and deliciousness. So I'm going to turn off my oven now. Okay, we're not having this necessarily for dinner because I made a chili in the crock pot for dinner tonight, and I did that actually last night. I made the chili, I put it in the fridge, and then I put it on the crock pot this morning. So dinner's actually been cooking in the crock pot all day, and in another video I'll show you how I do my crock pot recipes. I'll be doing a lot of those recipes in the winter because it's in the fall and the winter that I do a lot of crock pot recipes, so I'll make videos on how I do that. But today I just wanted to focus on the artichoke pie. So I'm probably gonna have some artichoke pie on the side of my chili if I'm honest. You don't want to cut this pie when it first comes out of the oven because the juices are just gonna drain everywhere. So you want to let it sit for at least 15-20 minutes before you cut into it. But when I do cut into it, I will show you at the end of this video how delicious it is and how it looks. It's gonna be ooey and gooey and garlicky, and I guarantee if you try this recipe, it will become one of your favorite recipes in your family. So please, please, if you try this recipe, leave a comment in the video and let me know how it goes and let me know if you liked it, because I'm just curious if other people are gonna like this recipe the way my family and my friends love this recipe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, and stay tuned for the reveal of cutting open the pie.